Sometimes the best thing you can do is nothing at all. I mean it, just stay still, breathe, watch. Because there comes a moment in life where someone you trusted, loved, supported, maybe even sacrificed for, will turn their back. Light a match and set fire to every bridge you built together. And here's the wild part, you don't have to stop them. Let them. Let them burn the bridge if they're so determined. Let them walk away with the illusion of power, thinking they're the ones making the bold move. You just stay calm. Stand tall. You don't have to chase, explain, beg, or plead. Sometimes silence is your strength. Sometimes your stillness is louder than anything you could possibly say. Because here's the truth. People who are meant for your journey don't burn bridges. They build them, brick by brick, side by side. They don't set fire to everything just because they feel momentary anger, ego, or entitlement. The ones who are real, they fight for connection, they choose humility, they pause before they destroy. So if someone's willing to watch everything crumble, maybe they were never really building with you in the first place. It hurts. I get it. Watching someone you care about walk away and burn the past behind them can leave you feeling gutted. But don't let it rob you of your peace. Don't lose sleep over people who never valued the weight of what you carried. Let them go. Let them walk through the fire they started, because some people need to learn through the ashes. And maybe, just maybe, that bridge needed to burn. Maybe it wasn't meant to carry you any further. You see, not every relationship is forever. Some are seasonal, some are lessons, some are blessings in disguise, wrapped in betrayal and pain, but blessings nonetheless. And when the smoke clears, you'll be standing there stronger, wiser, more grounded than ever before. You owe it to yourself to protect your peace, to honor your growth. You are not required to light yourself on fire to keep someone else warm. Let that sink in. You don't have to exhaust your energy trying to fix what they were so willing to ruin. Not everyone will see your value, and that's okay. You don't need universal approval to walk in purpose. It's hard, I know. Especially when your heart's involved, when your loyalty runs deep. But peace is louder than revenge. Growth is louder than bitterness. And trust me, watching you rise after they left will speak louder than any words you could ever say. Let your silence be your message. Let your healing be your answer. Let your success be your response. And don't worry, the right people, they won't ask you to prove your worth. They won't force you to choose between your dignity and their comfort. They'll honor the bridge between you. They'll water it, protect it, walk it with you. They'll understand that relationships, real ones, require effort, grace, and mutual respect. And those are the ones worth keeping. So next time someone walks away and torches the path behind them, don't panic. Don't beg. Don't chase. Just nod. Bless them silently. And move forward. You've got better bridges to build. You've got brighter paths to walk. And you've got a future that doesn't need to be dragged down by someone else's fire. And remember this, not everyone who exits your life is a loss. Sometimes their departure is the greatest gain you'll ever experience. So let them burn the bridge. You keep walking, head high, heart whole, soul at peace. Because you've got places to go, and trust me, you won't miss what was never meant to stay. It's funny, isn't it? How people will throw everything away in the name of pride or ego. They'll walk out as if it's some grand act of bravery. But deep down, you know it's fear disguised as strength. Fear of accountability. Fear of being vulnerable. Fear of being truly seen. And as painful as it is, you have to let them go. Don't interfere with their decision to burn that bridge. Some people need to feel the isolation they created before they ever learn the value of connection. You see, peace doesn't chase chaos, and growth doesn't beg for company. Let them go if they can't handle your light. If your honesty, your loyalty, your consistency was too much for them, then maybe they were never ready for someone like you. And that's not your burden to carry. You don't need to shrink to make someone else comfortable. Let them walk. Let them burn. You're not losing. You're being refined. I've learned that God has a way of clearing the path even when we refuse to. He'll let people exit our lives to protect our destiny. And sometimes that exit doesn't come quietly. It comes in flames, in pain, in confusion. But later, sometimes much later, you look back and realize it was divine protection. He saw what you couldn't. He heard conversations you weren't in. He knew hearts you couldn't read. So trust the loss. When they burn the bridge, they're not just walking away from you, they're walking away from access to your spirit, your loyalty, your time, your light. That's not something they'll find everywhere. That's rare. You are rare. So don't sit in the ashes wondering what you did wrong. Instead, stand in the lesson and say thank you for the revelation. Have you ever noticed how lighter you feel after certain people leave your life? That's not coincidence, that's clarity. Sometimes the weight isn't life, it's people. People who were never meant to carry your heart. People who loved the idea of you but couldn't hold the reality of you. And when they finally let go, you can breathe. You can become. You can grow without their shadow clouding your shine. And oh, the silence that follows. That silence is golden. It's healing. It's sacred. It's where your peace returns. It's where you meet yourself. Again, the you that's been buried under trying, explaining, fixing, proving. That silence is where you rebuild. Not the bridge they burned, but the foundation of your future. You start choosing better, loving smarter, protecting your space like it's holy because it is. You don't need to return the fire. You don't need to match their energy. Maturity is walking away from the explosion and choosing not to look back. Choosing not to gossip, not to post, not to clap back. Just walk. With grace. With class. With the quiet confidence that comes from knowing you did your part, that you loved fully, that you showed up, that you gave them every reason to stay. And the best part? One day they'll look back. They'll see that what they destroyed was sacred, that your presence was a privilege, that your energy was healing. But by then, you'll be gone, miles ahead, building new bridges with people who actually value what you bring. People who don't run at the first sign of discomfort. People who stay, who grow, who build with you. It's not your job to convince anyone of your worth. That's too heavy, that's too draining. Your only job is to know it yourself. To hold your head high even when your heart is aching. To walk in purpose even when people walk away. To stay soft even when the world gives you every reason to go cold. That's real power, that's strength. So don't cry over closed doors or burned bridges. Celebrate them. Thank them. Because every exit made room for something better. Every loss cleared space for new love, deeper friendships, more aligned connections. You're not being punished. You're being prepared. So stop looking at the fire and start looking at your future. There will be moments you'll miss the memories, the laughs, the inside jokes, the way things used to be. That's natural. That's human. But don't mistake nostalgia for need. Missing someone doesn't mean you need them back. Sometimes it just means you're healing. You're remembering what was while honoring what is. Let the memory be a chapter, not the whole story. And hey, don't lose yourself trying to keep someone else comfortable. That's not love. That's self-betrayal. If someone needs you to dim your light just so they can feel seen, they're not your people. Let them go. You were made to shine. You were made to rise. You were made to outgrow small minds and tight spaces. Growth will cost you people. That's the truth they don't often say. But what you gain, oh, it's priceless. You gain peace. You gain clarity. You gain strength, purpose, joy, authenticity. You lose what was never real and gain everything that's meant for you. And when you get there, when you're walking in that fullness, you'll realize you never needed them to stay. You just needed to let go. Sometimes the best closure is no closure. Just acceptance, just moving forward. Just understanding that not every story ends with a conversation or apology. Some endings are loud and messy, some are quiet and confusing, but all of them have purpose. All of them teach. All of them push you towards something greater. So next time someone burns a bridge with you, don't panic. Don't run after them with a bucket of water. Let it burn. Watch it glow. And then turn around and keep walking. Because on the other side of that fire is your freedom. And freedom is always worth the letting go. You know what's beautiful? The moment you realize you don't have to chase closure. You don't have to explain yourself to people who already made up their minds. That's freedom. That's real power. You stop begging to be understood and start resting in your truth. And when they burn that bridge, let it burn bright enough to light your next path. People think walking away is strength, but you know what's stronger? Staying calm when everything in you wants to scream. Keeping your head high when your heart is in pieces. Choosing peace when chaos tries to shake you. That kind of strength is silent, but powerful. That's the kind of strength that builds empires out of ruins. Some people can't handle your growth. It's not your fault. They were used to the version of you that needed validation, that tolerated less, that overgave. And when you started choosing yourself, setting boundaries, demanding respect, they got uncomfortable. So they left. And they'll call it your change, but really it was your evolution. They just weren't ready for the upgraded version of you. It's okay to outgrow people, even the ones you thought would be there forever. It's okay to wake up one day and realize you can't keep carrying people who refuse to walk beside you. You're not abandoning them. You're releasing yourself from a weight that was never yours to carry. And yes, it feels like loss at first, but give it time. It becomes peace. Letting go isn't weakness. It's wisdom. It's realizing that peace is more valuable than proving a point. That growth sometimes looks like silence. That healing doesn't always come with fireworks. It comes with soft mornings, steady breaths, and the kind of clarity that can't be shaken. Let them burn their bridges. That fire isn't yours to put out. You'll be surprised how light you feel when you stop holding on to people who let go of you long ago. When you stop overthinking every word, every silence, every changed tone. You stop trying to decode people who made it clear where they stand. And that energy, you put it into yourself, into your purpose, into your peace. That's when the real healing begins. And let me tell you, God has a way of replacing what you lost with something far greater. People who see you, really see you. People who pour into you the way you pour into them. Who celebrate you in private and defend you in rooms you're not in. Who don't just walk across the bridge, you build it together. With love, with intention, with mutual respect. You don't need to prove your worth to those who left. Let your growth be your loudest response. Let your peace be your biggest flex. There's no need for revenge, for pettiness, for bitterness, for you're not in competition with those who walked away. You're on a completely different journey now. One they were never meant to finish with you. And guess what? Not everyone gets a second chance to be in your life. That's not cold. That's called boundaries. You can forgive and still keep your distance. You can release and still protect your space. You're allowed to choose peace over history, because the past isn't always worth revisiting, especially if it cost you your growth. There's so much strength in quiet exits, in walking away without slamming doors, in refusing to match someone's chaos just to prove a point. That kind of discipline? That's divine. That's when you know God is maturing you, refining you, preparing you. Not for revenge, but for reign. Not to fight for old things, but to rise into new seasons. One day you'll look back and be glad they left, that they burned the bridge, because it forced you to build new ones, stronger ones, with people who show up, not just speak up, with people who stay, even when things get uncomfortable, with people who honor your heart like it's sacred ground. Letting them burn the bridge was a blessing in disguise, because now, you don't have to carry dead weight. You don't have to keep explaining your soul to people who never even tried to understand it. You can finally walk freely, knowing that anyone who truly values you, really values you, would never set fire to the connection. So next time someone exits your life in flames, let them. You're not the firefighter of their emotions. You're not the rescuer of people who refuse to grow. You're the protector of your peace, the gatekeeper of your energy, and not everyone deserves access. Don't look back with regret. Look ahead with hope. The people you lost were never yours to keep. They were chapters, not your whole story. And as you keep turning pages, you'll realize the best parts are still unwritten. Keep walking, keep healing, keep growing. Not everyone will understand your journey. That's fine. It wasn't meant for them. It was written for you, for your freedom, your healing, your peace. So let them burn it all if they must. You keep your hands clean and your heart soft, because you're not here to play in ashes. You're here to rise from them. Sometimes we don't even realize how much noise certain people brought into our lives until they leave. The silence they leave behind, it's not empty, it's peaceful. It's healing. It gives you room to breathe again, to think clearly, to feel like you again. That's what happens when people exit who were never aligned with your spirit. They don't just leave space, they leave clarity. It took me a while to understand that not every goodbye needs a response. Some farewells are actually gifts. Think about it, if someone had to burn a bridge just to leave, they were never crossing it with the right intentions. People who love you don't walk away with fire in their hands. They walk carefully, considerately, or they stay. It's that simple. And don't confuse loyalty with self-sacrifice. There's a difference. Loyalty doesn't mean you let someone drain your joy, your energy, your light, just because they've been around a long time. Sometimes the most loyal thing you can do for yourself is to let go of the people who won't meet you in the middle, who only reach out when they need something. You've given chances. You've opened your heart. You've made room. But now it's time to make boundaries, because your peace is not up for negotiation. Your joy is not a discount item for people to pick up when it suits them. You've outgrown the version of yourself that tolerated things just to avoid conflict. That version? Thank her. But leave her behind. It's strange, isn't it? How the people who said forever were the first to disappear when life got real. But it's okay. Let them rewrite their promises. You don't need to fight for a seat at someone's table when God's already preparing a better one for you. Sometimes rejection isn't personal, it's protection, a detour in disguise. Don't you ever feel ashamed for being the one who stayed calm while someone else chose destruction. That's not weakness, that's power under control. That's grace in motion. It takes strength to hold your peace when you could clap back, when you want to, but you don't. Because you know your worth isn't up for debate. Some people thrive off of chaos, and when they can't bring peace to their own lives, they try to disturb yours. Don't let them. Be the calm in your own storm. Be the stillness they can't shake. And when they throw flames your way, don't retaliate. Elevate. Rise so far above it, they need a ladder just to reach your silence. They'll tell others their version of the story. That you changed, that you walked away, that you gave up. But the truth? The truth sits quietly with you. You don't need to defend it, you don't need to broadcast your side. The people who truly know you feel your heart. And the rest? Let them talk. Let them wonder. Do you realize how powerful it is to stay soft in a world that's tried to harden you? To still choose love, even after betrayal? To still hope, even after disappointment? That's not naive, that's resilient, that's holy, that's rare. And anyone who saw that and still walked away? That's their loss, not yours. I used to fear losing people. Now I fear losing myself in trying to keep the wrong ones around. I'd rather be alone in truth than surrounded by people who can't see my worth. Because loneliness isn't always about being without people, it's about being without connection. And peace, real peace, feels better than fake company ever could. They'll try to come back, maybe months later, maybe years. When the smoke clears and they realize they walked away from something solid. But by then, you'll be too far gone. Not in anger, not in revenge, but in peace, in growth, in a life that doesn't need them anymore. That's the full circle moment. You'll never have to convince the right people to stay. Never. You won't have to beg them to understand, to see you, to respect you. They just will. Because love doesn't require pressure. It flows, it shows, and it stays. So if someone chose to leave, respect their decision. And more importantly, respect yourself enough not to stop them. Letting them go might feel like losing something big at first, but in time you'll realize you gained something even greater, yourself. You got your strength back, your voice, your clarity, and you started walking a path that actually leads somewhere better than you ever imagined with them in. Your healing doesn't require anyone's apology. It doesn't need their validation or understanding. Healing is yours. It's internal. It's personal. You don't need them to come back to say they're sorry. Sometimes you heal by simply deciding, they don't get to hurt me anymore. And don't underestimate the power of choosing peace over pride. That quiet moment when you let someone leave without retaliation, that's spiritual maturity. That's emotional intelligence. That's you refusing to lower yourself to a battle you've already won by walking away. People reveal themselves during hard times. Watch how they act when you're no longer convenient. That's when truth surfaces. Some will ghost, some will lash out, some will burn the bridge entirely. Let them. That kind of truth is priceless. It shows you who never deserved access in the first place. You're allowed to forgive someone and never let them back into your life. Forgiveness doesn't mean restoration. It means release. It means you're done carrying what they did. Not for them, for you. Because your peace matters more than their return. When they left, you thought the world might crumble. But it didn't. You're still here. Breathing. Thriving. Glowing in places you never thought you'd reach without them. That's proof. You didn't need them to survive. And you sure don't need them to flourish. Letting them burn that bridge was hard. But the growth you found in the ashes, unmatched. You started rebuilding from a place of truth, of strength, of deep inner power. And now, you don't beg, you don't chase, you choose. And that choice? It changes everything. You are not the villain in someone else's false story. Let them twist the truth if they need to justify their choices. You don't have to correct them. The people meant for you, they'll know your heart. They'll feel your truth without needing an explanation. And in case no one told you today, you are enough, with or without them. Whole even after they left. Powerful even when they tried to silence you. You are not too much. You are not too intense. You are not too soft. You are exactly who you were created to be. Their fire doesn't define your worth. Their exit doesn't diminish your value. You are still everything you were before they left, and now even more, wiser, freer, lighter. Let that be your truth. Let that be your new beginning. You're not here to hold broken bridges together with bloody hands. You've done enough. You gave enough. Now it's time to heal. to rise, to build better. Let them burn what they couldn't handle. You go build what they could never imagine. Because you weren't meant to stay in places that made you shrink. You weren't made to beg for love that should have been freely given. You were made to rise, to bloom even through concrete. And bloom you will, so if they need to go, let them. If they burn the bridge, let it burn. But you keep walking, keep shining, keep becoming. Because your journey doesn't end with their departure. It begins there. And remember this always. What's meant for you will never burn itself down. It will build, it will stay, it will grow with you, so let them go. Let it burn. Watch with calm. And then, walk into your destiny like you were born for it. Because you were. You know what you learn when the bridge burns behind you? That you don't need it. That you never did. You realize your legs work just fine without someone holding your hand. You find your strength in the ashes. You find your voice in the silence. And most of all, you find you. There's something incredibly freeing about not having to explain your worth anymore. Not shrinking, not overextending, not waiting for someone to see the value that's always been in you. Let them walk. Let them doubt. Because you're done selling yourself short to people with no vision. They say love is patient, love is kind, but love is also reciprocated. And if you were the only one loving, the only one pouring, the only one building, then what you had wasn't love. It was labor. And you're allowed to rest now. You're allowed to stop building bridges to places where you're not welcomed. Don't go chasing smoke hoping to find the fire you once had. If they wanted to burn it down, let them. Some fires cleanse, some endings purify, and once the dust settles, you'll see what remains. You remain, whole, unshaken, more aware than ever. It took them walking away for you to walk into your purpose. It took that silence to hear your own thoughts again. It took that heartbreak to open a deeper door in you, one that leads to healing, to wholeness, to a version of you that doesn't settle anymore. They thought leaving would break you, but what they didn't realize is, you don't break easy. You bend, you shake, you fall sometimes, but you get back up stronger. Softer in the right places, harder in the ones that count. You turned the pain into bricks, and you started building. You noticed how your smile feels more real now, how your sleep feels deeper, how your laughter doesn't feel forced anymore. That's what peace does. That's what happens when you stop entertaining people who kept draining you behind smiles. Let's be honest. Some of the people who walked out were never meant to walk in to begin with. They were lessons, not lifelines. Detours, not destinations. But still, you welcomed them with open arms. And now, you walk away with an open heart, just wiser this time. Don't waste energy trying to make them regret losing you. Focus on becoming someone you're proud to be. Because when you grow past the need for revenge, you're unstoppable. They may never say it, but they'll feel your absence. And your absence will say what your words never needed to. There's a peace that comes with letting go. It doesn't show up all at once. It comes quietly, in small moments, in long walks, in soft songs, in laughter with people who actually stay. And suddenly you realize you didn't lose anything. You released it. You were never hard to love. You just kept giving love to people who didn't know how to hold it. People who mistook consistency for convenience. People who saw your heart and thought it was theirs to damage. No more. Your love deserves protection. You know what hits different? When you start matching energy with boundaries, not bitterness. When you stop explaining and start observing. When you stop proving and start protecting your peace. That shift? It's personal. It's holy. Some bridges needed to burn because you kept crossing back to pain. You kept walking toward what already showed you it couldn't hold you. And finally, you stopped. Finally, you let it all go. Finally, you chose you. There's no need to announce your healing. Just show up whole. Quiet, soft, powerful. They'll feel it. People can sense when you've come home to yourself, when you no longer need them to clap for you, because you're clapping for yourself. Not everyone is meant to stay, and that's okay. Some people are just passing through. Let them. Wish them well, bless them silently, and close the door. Not with hate, not with hurt, but with grace. Because you deserve relationships that feel like shelter, not storms. You ever realize how much lighter you feel when you stop texting first? Stop checking in with people who never checked in on you? That's not petty. That's perspective. You finally see who was real and who was just comfortable in your presence. Forgive them. Not for them. For you. So you can move on without the weight. So you can smile without bitterness in your chest. Forgiveness doesn't excuse the fire. It just means you're no longer sitting in the smoke. Your time is too precious to keep pouring into what doesn't pour back. You're not a bottomless well. You're a whole ocean. But even oceans have limits. Let people swim at their own risk, and if they drown in their own choices, that's not on you. They left thinking you'd fall apart. But what they didn't see coming was the rebirth. The version of you that rose out of that heartbreak like a phoenix. Stronger, smarter, not bitter, just better. You don't have to be cold to move on. You don't have to be mean to protect your heart. You can leave with love, with clarity, with calm. Just because you're done doesn't mean you're angry. It just means you're finally at peace with what's gone. Closure isn't something they give you. It's something you give yourself. When you stop replaying the past, when you stop needing them to understand, when you finally say, "It's okay, I release this." That's real closure, that's power. You deserve relationships that don't require over-explaining, where you're seen without having to shout, where your love is matched, your presence appreciated, your soul understood. Don't settle for anything less than that. Let them watch you glow from the distance they created. Let them see the light they walked away from. You're not the same anymore, and that's a good thing. You didn't just survive. You transformed. Some people didn't reject you. They revealed themselves. That's not abandonment. That's clarity. That's God showing you, this isn't for you. Trust that. Trust the separation. It came to save you, not shame you. You can love someone and still let them go. That's real love. That's mature love. That's love that says, I want the best for you even if it's not me. And that kind of love, it always returns to you in a new, better form. Be proud of how you handled what tried to break you. Be proud of the days you smiled through tears, of the nights you didn't text back, of the mornings you chose peace over proving a point. That's growth. That's God working. They burned the bridge thinking it would end your journey. What they didn't know? You learned how to fly. Wings built from pain, lifted by healing, guided by purpose, and now? You don't need bridges, you build skies, and finally, remember this. The people who left were never your source. Your peace, your power, your purpose, it all comes from within, from God, from growth, from choosing to love yourself enough to let go of what doesn't. Let them burn it all down if they must. But you keep rising, because you were never made to sit in smoke. You were made to shine through it. You ever get tired of carrying conversations on your back? Of being the only one reaching out, checking in, keeping things alive? It's exhausting. And eventually, you stop. Not out of anger, but from peace. You just stop watering what doesn't grow with you. They'll say you've changed and you'll smile because finally you have. You stopped people-pleasing. You stopped shrinking. You stopped betraying yourself just to keep people close who never really saw you. That kind of change, that's holy. You gave your all and they still left. And at first that stung, but now you realize that all was never the problem. It was just given to the wrong person. The right ones won't let you give alone. They'll meet you, match you, multiply with you. Let them misunderstand you. Let them mislabel your silence as weakness. Let them whisper about the bridge they burned. Because the truth doesn't need defending. It just needs time. Time reveals everything, and eventually, your peace will speak louder than their noise ever could. Some bridges burn slow, flicker by flicker, and sometimes it's not a big argument, it's distance, it's silence, it's effort that fades into nothing. That's how you know. It's not always fire. Sometimes it's just absence, and that's enough to let go. You don't need closure from someone who was okay with confusing you. You don't need peace from someone who made chaos your normal. Sometimes closure is just choosing yourself and deciding the story doesn't need another chapter. There's nothing soft about walking away from people you love. It takes everything, but loving them isn't the same as keeping them. Love can still exist in release, and sometimes the most powerful thing you can say is, I love you, but I love me more. Watch how your life changes when you stop waiting on people to return who already made peace with leaving. Watch how you bloom when you no longer water soil that never held your roots. You were made for more than temporary spaces. They ghosted you? Good. Let them. Some people remove themselves because their presence was never meant to be permanent. Their exit created room for alignment. And now that they're gone, you've got clarity. You've got you back. Stop looking for closure in people who never gave you clarity. You don't owe anyone a final conversation that keeps reopening wounds. Sometimes healing starts the moment you stop trying to understand people who never tried to understand you. People will confuse access with entitlement. They think just because they knew you at one point, they can always come back. But not anymore. Growth comes with locked doors, and not everyone gets a copy of the key. You're allowed to be unavailable, to not respond, to take space, to protect your peace like it's your most sacred possession. Because it is. You've sacrificed it too many times. Now you guard it like your life depends on it. Some people don't see the bridge burning behind them because they're too focused on themselves. Let them be. That smoke they're leaving behind, one day they'll have to walk through it, and by then, you'll be long gone. When someone chooses to burn a bridge with you, don't hand them water. Don't hand them guilt. Don't hand them excuses. Just hand them silence and walk away. Because some people only learn when they lose the peace they once took for granted. There is beauty in detachment. Not coldness, not bitterness, just the peace that comes from not being pulled in every direction. You're no longer bending to be understood. You're just being. And that alone is power. Let's stop romanticizing the one that got away. They didn't get away. You let them go. There's a difference. You saw who they were. You saw how it felt. And you chose peace. That's not a loss. That's a win. You deserve to be loved in your fullness. Not halfway. Not when it's convenient. Not when it's easy. The kind of love that stays, shows up, and grows with you. Anything less? Let it burn. You're not here for part-time affection. They'll pop up again. They always do. Just checking on you. I miss us. You cross my mind. But you won't respond the same. Because healing taught you that some bridges should stay burned, so you don't cross back to your own suffering. You don't have to hate them to move on. You don't have to block them to grow. You just have to stop reaching. Stop hoping. Stop imagining a version of them that never existed. Maturity is grieving the fantasy and accepting the truth. There's something sacred about solitude after heartbreak, when you sit with yourself and feel everything. The grief, the freedom, the clarity, that space, that's where you rebuild. That's where your real life begins. You once begged for crumbs from people who didn't even deserve your presence. You twisted yourself into silence just to keep the peace. But now you're loud. Loud in your boundaries. Loud in your joy. Loud in your healing. Not everyone who walks with you is walking for you. Some are just along for the ride. And when the road gets bumpy, they bail. That's not betrayal, it's exposure. Let their exit be your confirmation, not your crisis. The people who are real, they don't just cross the bridge, they build it with you. They don't ghost when life gets heavy. They stay, they check in, they grow. Hold on to those people. They're rare and they're worth protecting. Sometimes you're not being too much, you're just being too real for someone who is pretending. Your depth overwhelmed their surface. Don't shrink for that. Don't apologize for having a soul that runs deep. They'll remember you, long after they're gone, long after they burned what you built. They'll remember your peace, your laughter, your loyalty. And when they reach for that again, they'll find only smoke. Because you've moved on. Protect your energy like you protect your name. It carries weight. It opens doors. It sets the tone. Not everyone deserves to sit at your table. Some people only bring hunger, not contribution. You'll know the difference. Stop grieving what left you when God was making space. That absence you felt? It wasn't abandonment. It was a setup. For healing. For alignment. For the version of life you were always meant to walk into. You don't need permission to choose yourself. You don't need anyone's approval to protect your peace. That decision, it's yours. Own it, love it, walk in it without shame. Because choosing yourself isn't selfish, it's sacred. They tried to dim your light, but you shine anyway. They tried to shake your worth, but you stayed rooted. That kind of resilience, that doesn't come from people, it comes from within. It comes from God. And it can't be taken. And if no one's told you this lately, you're doing amazing. The way you've carried heartbreak and still chose love. The way you've lost and still chose to grow. That's powerful. That's divine. Keep going. Keep glowing. Your next chapter, it's brighter than ever.